Okay, sorry about that, and I'm back. I had to delete some videos off my phone there, just recording with my phone. So we're just going to go ahead and line the mold. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just have a paintbrush that I've put a little bit of Vaseline on, and I'm going to kind of just paint the mold, so to speak, on the inside. And you'll see in a minute why I'm doing this. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. You just want to basically give the liner something to stick to. Again, I don't use paper to line my molds, not generally. So I'm going to set that off to the side. And what I have is just um, a general trash bag. And just with the handles completely unscented, unfragranced. And I just literally take it and I cut it. And I'm going to have to do this off camera. You just cut it along the seam. I hope you all are having a great day. It is in the morning. I've got 2 more soaps under my belt, so I'll be recording quite a few videos today. I'm going to do a activated charcoal soap as well as a flaxseed soap. So matcha is the first. Today is all about the face. And you just literally take it. And this is a little trick I learned from soapers. You just take it and you just line the mold. Now you can try to be a perfectionist and get all the wrinkles out. I am contemplating actually beveling and planing my soaps just for appearance sake, but then the other part of me is like, well, it's handcrafted, it's not supposed to be perfect. So that's going to be a personal choice if you choose to do so or not. And now you see why I did the and you want to make sure that when you put it down you don't have any gaps in there where sometimes it may fold, because again, you're going to be having, by the time you're done, you're going to have 4 pounds of batter that you're going to be pouring into it, and you don't want anything seeping in behind where there may not have been enough, where the plastic has gathered. And that's how you do it. That's how I line my soap. You'll see that it's a perfectly lined soap. Again, if you are just a perfectionist and you want them completely smoothed out, you can get in there and do that, and the end pieces get cut off anyway. So, of course you want to try to make it pretty, but the front part will be pretty enough. So this is what your line mold is going to look like. You see it on the outside, and there it is on the inside. We're going to set this to the side, so we have gotten that out of the way. That was easy peasy, quick and easy. And we're going to check on our lye water, which all this time has been cooling down. So this is our lye water. You see it is completely crystal clear. It doesn't have that foamy appearance that it once had, or cloudy rather, and that means it has cooled down. So what we're going to do is get our handy dandy gun again. I'm going to just shoot it on in there. Again, this is and we're at 138. This is completely acceptable for soaping purposes. If you wanted to have more time to play around with your batter, then you would let it probably cool down to 120. But that's going to also be dependent upon, with this particular recipe, I know that it will set up pretty quickly because of the cocoa butter. And this is where, even though I'm giving you a recipe, you want to take the time and look at the qualities and values of each item that you could use. You could swap out cocoa butter for shea butter, but go to soapcalc.com and plug and play with the butters, because each one has a different value, and you don't want a soap to become lye heavy, as then it will be completely unusable. Well, you can make it into laundry detergent, but who wants to waste all of that oil and butter by just when it takes a few seconds to go and play around with soapcalc.com. That's soap and then CALC. This too is also a resource in the workbook. If you're watching the video and you kind of want to check everything out and kind of have everything in place before you get started, this is a wonderful resource that you need to use to develop your own soap. So if you're like, rice bran is too hard, swap it out for olive oil. Just because it is the same type of value. Doesn't have your amount that you may need, the percentage in it may change. So when you may want one that's more bubbly, or you want a bar that's harder, or you want one that's more conditioning, this recipe is what works for me and what my customers like. But by all means, please make it your own. That's what makes soaping so much fun. And you can experiment with different butters, such as mango butter. So what we're going to do is we are going to, here are my lye, here are my water. Got to get my hand mixer ready. If you're going to soap as a profession, or it's going to be a hobby for you, then what I would recommend is that you get several stick blenders. You don't have to get Cuisinarts. You don't have to get anything expensive. You can actually just get the cheapest one from, you know, a local store, local big box store, and that should be able to be sufficient. Your stick blender is going to make your life a lot easier. So this is what it looks like. If you find them on discount, a lot of times you can find them at flea markets, or people have, you know, been on a health kick and they're like, too much, I don't want to do it. So basically stainless steel is a lot easier to wash and to keep clean. So, and then that little motor, that little blade in there tends to last longer. So if it's just going to be a hobby, just go the cheapy route. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour, and you'll see different soapers do it different ways. I just choose to do it this way. You're going to pour your lye water, which now is currently sitting at, just in the time we were talking, you saw how it went from 192. I'm trying to get my gun here. I don't know if this organizational tool was the best choice. Sorry. For this, but now our lye water is sitting at 131. So just in the time it took me to get that together, it's at 131. So it doesn't take long for it to cool down, but you just want to make sure that you know, if you can master batch it, which I'll show you, you know, in another video, it will make your life a lot easier. So I'm just going to pour. And again, this is why you have goggles, because you don't want anything splashing back. You just slowly pour. The lye water into the oils. Now, if you're close enough, what you're seeing, and I try to get you down closer while I had to do some extra, but if you're close enough, what you'll see is, you see how it got really opaque right there. That is the saponification process taking place. And this bowl right now is cool, but it can heat up. And depending on what fragrance oils you use, if you choose to use fragrance oils, they will heat and accelerate as well. So we're just going to buzz it just a bit, because we still have other ingredients that we're going to put in, so we don't want to overmix. So we're just going to tap the bottom. And what that does, you'll see all of these air bubbles come out. And you're just going to hold it up straight, and you're going to gently make sure you got tied to the bowl. But you see that color change. And we're just buzzing it a bit. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that the oil incorporates well with the water. And we don't see any trails of oil, and you want to just kind of stir it. Sometimes it gets caught on the bottom, but if you saw how that literally changed colors, and I do see a bit of oil, and you do not want to not mix it. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time, because if it is not mixed properly, it will separate on you. Then you'll have basically a mess that you have to clean up. I've done that once, and I said never again. I would rather overmix than undermix. Tap it again. All those air bubbles come out, and we're just slowly mixing it. And just do it in short bursts, no hurry. Okay, so that's mixed. That is a completely mixed soap batter. And if you see what I'm doing, if you can see, which it may show up better, but you'll see those light, and see, this is why you want to wear glasses, because it just splattered. But if you see, when I do this, I can see little soap trails. And take it off of this. Don't bang that. You'll mess up your whole blender. And you'll just take off the batter from the soap. I hate wasting, again, y'all. This is just me. And if you're working with, and definitely get under here. And the best way to do soap is to rinse it immediately after you're done. So after you're done with your project, don't let it sit around. For one, it'll pile up a bunch of dishes that you don't want to wash. I absolutely hate doing soap dishes, but neither here nor there. You just don't want to let it pile up. Or you can have a cup nearby that you can just put some water in, which the cup that I had just now with the oil, the paintbrush in, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually put some water in here. And when I get ready to use it, because I know I'm going to be doing several batches. You want to work smarter, not harder. So as you see, this is already thickening up. So what we need to do is get moving. And I'm going to split the batter. Get it in there. No rhyme or reason to how much I'm putting in. Again, this is completely unfragranced. And we're going to put a bit of coconut milk. This is 3 ounces. So we're just going to kind of eyeball it. It was a total amount of 3 ounces of coconut milk. Each side gets that. And you see how it loosens the batter back up. And I'm going to use a different spatula for this side. And soaping doesn't have to be messy. I sometimes make it that messy, but I'm trying to do better because I'm recording for y'all. Promise, I'm trying to do better. So you see how loose that got, even though it was getting thick. And the reason I know that my soap gets pretty hard pretty quick is because I have a high percentage of cocoa butter. It's like 21% of my mixture. So if you see a recipe and it's given in percentages, that is telling you, you know, basically how much of the percent it makes up of that recipe. So this is our matcha green tea. We're just going to scoop this off to the side, and we're just going to put it in as is. Just plop it on in there, and we're going to stir. And it is giving